Here's an old pencil skirt. To create the curved shape of the flounce on the front of your skirt, while wearing your skirt, pin on which side and how high the curve should come up on your thigh. Also, pin at the side seams 4 to 5 inches below your hips. The pins on the right and left side seams should be equal distance from the waist. Take off your skirt, lay flat, and on the front of your skirt, draw the curve of your flounce. Note that the curve is higher on one leg. You decide how pronounced you would like the curve to be. Then add your 1/2 inch seam allowance. On the back, draw a straight line to the pins on the side seams. And don't forget to draw the 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now, cut the front of the skirt along the side seams and the curve. Then cut the back. Put the top of your skirt aside. To create the pattern for the flounces, use the front and back bottom panels that you just cut. Starting with the back piece, draw straight lines from top to bottom 3 inches apart, and then start cutting from the hem of the skirt along the lines and stop a 1/4 inch from the top. Use the entire back panel as your pattern to create the back flounce of your skirt, or use half of the back panel. Fold your fabric and place the center back of the half skirt panel at the fold line and pin each strip 3 inches from each other. If you're using the entire back panel, place on 1 layer of fabric and position each strip 3 inches from each other. Note that the more space between each strip, the more flare you get. If you want a lot of flare, use 5 to 6 inches between each strip. Then trace the outline of your flounce, side seam, top edge, and hem. Note that since I am creating a maxi skirt, I'm adding 5 inches at the hem. Then add 1/2 inch of seam allowance to the hem, side seam, and top edge. Cut, remove the pins, and you now have your back flounce. Do the same with the front panel to create your front flounce pattern. Draw straight lines from top to bottom 3 inches apart. Then cut from the hem along the lines and stop a 1/4 inch from the top edge. Place the panel on your fabric and pin each strip 3 inches from each other. Then trace the outline of your flounce and add 5 inches at the hem to add some length. Then add 1/2 inch of seam allowance to the hem, side seam, and top edge. Cut, remove pins, and you now have your front flounce. Now let's make the shorter flounce to create the tiered look. Lay the wrong side of your front flounce on the right side of your fabric. Trace the side seams and top edge. Then use carbon paper and place between flounce and fabric at the hem. Measure 10 inches from the hem, and with a tracing wheel, make marks along the entire unfinished hem to create the shorter flounce. Then cut, repeat to make the back flounce. It is now time to finish the hem of your flounces. This is what your finished hem will look like. Now let's assemble the bottom section of your skirt. Pin the front and back longer flounce together at the side seam and sew. Do the same for the shorter flounce. Then pin shorter flounce over longer flounce at the top edge and sew using a basting stitch. Only one step left. Pin the top of the skirt to the flounces, ensuring to align the side seams, and then sew together. And voila, you're ready to wear your tiered flounce skirt. If you like this DIY, hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, and please share with a friend.